show to get together, everyone. Shot of our crowd. Crowd, we have a question for you. Help us out with this. Who here is ready to go back to school? Who's ready? Huh?
A couple of no's.
I love it, Di, because well, every year it's the same answer. A lot of parents cheer and a lot of kids boo when you ask that question.
That's true.
Today, though, it wasn't the students who were getting graded. It was actually the schools getting graded.
That's right. And every school in Minneapolis and St. Paul, none of them met the performance standards. So we're going to head back to the Kare 11 studios in Golden Valley with more on that story and the rest of today's news. And everybody say hi to Brad.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, right back at you. Thanks, guys. And as you mentioned, Minnesota's school report card is out. And even though most schools earned passing grades, hundreds did not. This year, 472 schools failed to meet the standards of the federal No Child Left Behind Act. But the governor cautions don't panic. Part of the reason that number is so high, this is the first time high schools and middle schools were assessed on test scores instead of just attendance and graduation rates. And the bar keeps rising every year toward a goal of universal proficiency in reading and math by 2014. Plenty also says all it takes to get on the list is a certain subgroup in your school that is not making progress. Parents and teachers are encouraged to check out the website that shows each school's rating.
And when you have questions, if you see your school district or your school building as a 2-star school, don't panic. Go and dig deeper into the details.
If you want to know which grade your school received, log on to kare11.com and click on featured links. We've set up a link to the State Department of Education that has the complete list. Well, a family in mourning is asking for your help to find a killer. 28-year-old Joe Tao was shot early Sunday morning in St. Paul. He was leaving Lucy's bar with friends. Police say the group stopped to watch a fight and a stray bullet hit Tao in the chest.
I did not have a chance to say goodbye. I cannot fill the gap in my heart and ask God and the police to bring the person that are responsible for my husband's death to justice.
A warrant is out for the arrest of Fong Lee, the suspected gunman. 2 others have been arrested and charged with aiding an offender. A tearful 10-year anniversary in St. Paul today. Flags fell to half-staff in a special service at sunrise to remember 2 officers gunned down on duty. Officer Ron Ryan Jr. died in a church parking lot. Later that day, the gunman shot and killed Officer Tim Jones, as well as his K-9 partner, Laser. Today, St. Paul police stood at attention at police headquarters and held a service at the church where Officer Ryan died. From the Olympics today, here are results of some of the competition that will not be televised tonight. The biggest news is the U.S. women's soccer team, which won the gold medal in the final game for most of its famous players. With Minnesota's Brianna Scurry in goal, the U.S. beat Brazil 2-1 in overtime. Also, former Timberwolf Stephon Marbury set an Olympic record by scoring 31 points, and the U.S. beat the previously unbeaten team from Spain. One more victory and the Americans, despite all of their problems, would be guaranteed a medal. Also today, the U.S. women won the bronze medal in water polo by defeating Australia 5-6. Okay, well now it's time to look away if you don't want to know the results of events airing tonight on NBC. They include the women's 1,500-meter semifinals, which is where Minnesotan Kare Tollefson competed today. So look away if you don't want to see those results, and it will be safe to return when the music stops. Okay, well that's it from here, and we'll have more from the fair, including a progress check on the work of Kare 11's amateur dairy princess when we come right back.
Thanks, John. We're also getting word of a new terror alert tonight.
Brad Woodard is back in our studios with more on today's news. Brad?
Thanks, Diane Frank. Al-Qaeda terrorists looking for a U.S. military target might try to attack Veterans Affairs hospitals where there's less security. That's according to the FBI and Homeland Security Department today. They said there have been persistent reports of suspicious activity at medical facilities throughout the U.S., but there is no credible intelligence about any specific threat. Well, investigators now believe terrorists downed at least one of those Russian jetliners that crashed earlier this week. They found traces of explosives in the wreckage of one plane. American officials think terrorists blew up both jets. Authorities are focusing on 2 women, one on each plane, as potential terrorists. Of all the passengers on both planes, they're the only 2 that no grieving family members have inquired about. A Minnesota firm is selling a device to help stop a nuclear attack. Edina-based ATK says it's supplying numerous law enforcement agencies across the country with handheld radiation detection devices. The device, about the size of a garage door opener, can detect radioactive material concealed in a container while it's on the move at distances greater than 25 feet.
It is extremely powerful. It can detect minute amounts of radiated material, and as we understand it, a New Mexico trooper was going down the road, passing a car, and as they passed, his device went off. He turned around, pulled the car over, and the individual had had a radiation treatment for prostate cancer. And so it just, shows you how sensitive this system is.
Howell says not only can the devices be used on roads, but also in city centers, airport screening points, and borders. An innocent motorist on his way home from work died overnight after an apparent drunk driver slammed into his car. It happened around midnight at 65th Avenue and 16th Street in Richfield. The victim, 35-year-old Valente Ramirez Laura, was only 2 blocks from home. He leaves behind a wife and 2 children. Charges against the other driver are pending. While a big chunk of this year's flu vaccine could be in jeopardy, a major supplier says 4 million doses appear to be contaminated. So you might not be able to get your flu shot as early as normal this year. But U.S. health officials do not expect a shortage. Well, that's it from here. Let's toss it back out to Frank and Di at the Great Minnesota Get Together. I hope you're bringing back some food.
Well, what would you like? French fries,
French
chocolate chip
fries.
cookies?
French
What?
fries would be great.
They might be cold,
Okay.
but we'll get them to you.
Hey, we can nuke them.
All right.
Absolutely. Okay, thanks, Brad.